Elohim has made known to the king what will come to pass after this. The dream is certain, and its interpretation is sure. So Daniel was completely sure that he didn't miss the mark regarding the interpretation of the dream. And it's obvious because it is written and it has been fulfilled like 90% of it already to the T. So verse 46. Then King Nebuchadnezzar fell on his face, prostrate before Daniel. That is so huge because the prideful king of the world, king of kings, actually prostrated himself, went down before Daniel, giving him honor. So if the king is giving Daniel honor, pretty much makes Daniel greater than the king. So that shows the honor that Yahweh gives his servants. And the person, when a person is humble, Yahweh exalts him in public. But when a person is prideful, Yahweh will humiliate them in public. So Nebuchadnezzar is about to become prideful in the next chapters, and then he was going to become humiliated. But then that will bring him to the understanding that only Yahweh exalts. But Daniel, because of his humility that we already saw many times, is getting this honor. So imagine the whole kingdom seeing the king bowing down before a Yahudi, Daniel. So that shows how at the end of times, represented by this moment, Daniel, represented by the stone cut out without hands, when the last comes as the stone, the king of the world, Hillel, the fallen angel, will have to bow down before him and recognize that Yahweh loved him, Mashiach, first and last. So the king Nebuchadnezzar fell on his face, prostrate before Daniel, and commanded that they should present an offering and incense to him. So they gave him two gifts, an offering and incense. For many reasons. Incense represents the prayers and the works of the righteous, the deeds of the righteous. But it represents his connection with the Most High, using incense to connect with the Most High in prayer. Just like the smoke goes up, so does the prayers. And then it says, verse 47. Well, the fact that he was given offering and incense shows that he is, to this angel, represented by Nebuchadnezzar, as Yahweh to us. So what I mean is that Mashiach, the men, and therefore all men who believe in him, who will receive kingship, those will receive honor from the angels and all the rest of humanity. Just like Daniel is receiving the honor that was normally given to the Most High, offerings and incense. Those were things that were offered to the Most High, to Yahweh, or whatever Elohim they would worship. But in this case, incense and offering for Yahweh, yet it is given to Daniel, because Daniel as Mashiach represents Yahweh. And even the king of the world, who represents the angel, is giving him that honor. As we see also in Revelation 2:9 and Revelation 3:9, that those who are of the synagogue of Satan, who say they are Yahudim and are not, who say they are Jews and are not, will come and bow before our feet and recognize that Yahweh has loved us. So, that they should present an offering and incense to him. So, Nebuchadnezzar placed Daniel as a king, since all the people had to bring gifts to him, to honor him, as Yahweh will do with the nations regarding Mashiach. Verse 47. The king answered Daniel and said, Truly your Elohim is the El of Elohim. Truly your mighty one is the mighty one of almighty ones, the sovereign of kings, and a revealer of secrets, since you could reveal this secret. Then the king promoted Daniel and gave him many great gifts. And he made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, as with Joseph. So we see a clear similarity between Joseph and Daniel. And Joseph is genetically the one from whom the last would come. Daniel is the one that represents the root of the last. Yahushua, who is a Yahudi, is the root of David. The last is the branch of David. Daniel was a Yahudi, but the last is from Ephraim. The only way that the one from Ephraim can fulfill becoming the lion of Yehudah, and therefore the king, is through what Yahushua did 2,000 years ago. So, then the king promoted Daniel and gave him many great gifts, and he made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief administrator over all the wise men of Babylon. So he became the head of all the wise men. Also, which would represent the leader of the 144,000, the last at the end times. All the wise men being the 144,000, the real wise, of course. Also, Daniel petitioned the king, and he said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Look how there, even though it says Daniel, it mentions the Babylonian names of his friends. One of the reasons, because he was talking to the king, because this is written in Aramaic, so it makes reference to the Babylonian part, but we still see the name Daniel, which shows the difference between the few and the many. The few continue to respect and honor the true name of the Most High, Yahweh, and his son Yahushua. Yet the many, represented by the three friends of Daniel, actually start using the false names that are given to them by the false doctrines, the false religions. That's why they represent the many who do not accept the name but do accept the commandments. Do not accept the name but do believe that he came and died for their sins and resurrected by the power of Yahweh. So also Daniel petitioned the king, and he said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat in the gate of the king. Daniel sat in the gate of the king. And as we know, the gate is Yahushua. Yahushua is the door. The last is the good shepherd. We see the door and the good shepherd in John 10. First and last, door and good shepherd, or the gate and the good shepherd, because we go through Mashiach to the Father as a gate. But the one who leads the sheep of the Father to him is the last, the good shepherd. So Daniel sat in the gate of the king. That shows that the 144,000 will be in a special place from the one where the many will be like the friends of Daniel. It also shows that the first, the gate, and the last, represented by Daniel, the good shepherd, will be one. So he will receive that authority over the few and the many.